A new technical direction, a decisive moment that could either rescue Ferrari's 2025 season or expose just how lost the team really is. For months, fans and pundits alike have been wondering what's going on inside Maranello. How can a team with two of the most talented drivers on the grid, a seven-time world champion and Ferrari's golden boy, still be stuck battling for fourth place? How can a team that came within 14 points of the Constructors' title last year already be trailing their rivals by over 170 points just 8 races into the season? And more importantly, what is Ferrari going to do to fix it? Well, now we have the answer. And it's bigger than anyone expected. This weekend in Barcelona marks a turning point, not just because the Scuderia is introducing long-awaited upgrades to the SF25, but because the entire grid will be forced to adapt to a brand new technical directive from the FIA, TD018, a directive that could upend the competitive order. And Ferrari? They're not just reacting to the changes, they're betting big on them. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what Ferrari has changed on Hamilton's and Leclerc's cars, why these upgrades are so crucial, how the FIA's crackdown on flexi-wings could reshuffle the grid, and what all of this means for Ferrari's title hopes, or what's left of them. Let's start with the car. After a series of underwhelming performances, Ferrari is finally rolling out their first major aerodynamic update of the season, and they're doing it at the most unforgiving track possible. The Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya is the ultimate test of car balance, tire management, and aero efficiency. There's no place to hide. And that's exactly why the team has chosen this weekend to introduce both a brand new front wing and a completely redesigned rear wing. These aren't superficial changes. They're fundamental adjustments designed to completely reshape how the SF25 behaves on track. The front wing is the headline piece. Redesigned to comply with the FIA's TD018 directive, this wing is now significantly stiffer and less flexible than previous iterations. Why does that matter? Because TD018 is cracking down hard on the kind of flexi-wing technology that teams like McLaren and Red Bull have been accused of exploiting. Systems that can deform at high speed to boost straight-line efficiency, then regain downforce through corners. That's gone now. From Barcelona onward, the rules are clear. Stiffer wings, stricter load limits, and no more aerodynamic trickery. Ferrari's version of this new wing is designed not only to meet the regulations, but to recapture something that's been missing all season: predictability. And alongside it comes a new, flat-profile rear wing designed to deliver greater downforce than the previous V-shaped variant. Together, these two components are meant to give both Hamilton and Leclerc a more stable, more responsive car, something they've desperately needed since round one. Here's where it gets really interesting. According to internal simulations and data from Monaco, where Ferrari claim they rediscovered the drivability traits of last year's SF24, the team now believes they're finally on the right path. They're confident that these new aerodynamic parts will not only improve lap times, but give both drivers the confidence to push the SF25 to its limits without second-guessing every corner entry or braking zone. And for Hamilton in particular, that could be massive. The British driver has yet to reach the podium since joining Ferrari. And after a messy Monaco weekend filled with miscommunication, penalties, and lost pace, he knows Barcelona may be his best shot yet at redemption. But this isn't just about car upgrades, it's about timing, because all of this is happening under the shadow of mounting pressure from above. Ferrari's top brass have reportedly lost patience with the team's inconsistency. Charles Leclerc is doing everything he can to keep the team afloat, but he can't win titles alone. And Hamilton, for all his experience, is still adapting to a new team, a new car, and a pit wall that frankly has not earned his trust yet. That's why this race matters. Not just for points, but for momentum, for clarity, for belief. And then there's the wild card, the technical directive, TD018 is the single most disruptive piece of regulation introduced so far this season. Under the new rules, front wings are now limited to just 10 millimeters of vertical flex under symmetrical load, down from 15 millimeters. Under asymmetrical load, the limit is now 15 millimeters instead of 20 millimeters. Even the flaps are affected, with allowable flex reduced from 5 millimeters to just 3 millimeters under a 60 Newton point load. What does this mean in practice? It means that some of the cars that have looked unstoppable, particularly McLaren, could now find themselves vulnerable if they've been relying on flexible aero components to gain performance. Gains will now be neutralized, and Ferrari? They're hoping this rule change will close the gap overnight. That's why this weekend isn't just another race. It's a stress test. For the car, for the team, for the entire technical department at Maranello. If these upgrades deliver, if TD018 reshuffles the field as expected, then Ferrari could find themselves right back in the fight with Red Bull, McLaren, and Mercedes. But if it doesn't work, if Hamilton and Leclerc are still stuck in 4th or 5th, still struggling with a car that won't behave, then the consequences will be brutal. Because this is the moment Ferrari said they were waiting for. No more excuses, no more promises, just results. So what does all this tell us about where Ferrari stands and where they could be headed? In many ways, Barcelona isn't just another round on the calendar. It's a moment of truth, a benchmark, a crossroads. Because what happens here could set the tone for the rest of 2025, not just in terms of performance, but in terms of confidence, belief, and internal stability. We're looking at a race that may define whether Ferrari continues to fight or starts to fracture under the weight of its own expectations.